Alright. I didn't even want to be making this video, as usual. Yeah, I reckon this is what they look like, boys, you know what I mean? It's a little, and they call them kind of girly, because they have who was the other Scottish King David? That, William Wallace, you know, it's the girly thing. What is that? Oh, they help me when I'm riding, you know, they help me when I'm playing with the dogs. And they're kind of, you know, girly. Alright. I didn't know what video to make, and I was told to make this video, so I'm going to talk about like property, tax, Jerusalem, and the Jews, and yeah, I'm going to sparkle a bit there. But anyway, I personally, I'm just going to throw it for anyone out there, I'm going to throw a wide line so you know what I'm talking about. I think it's globally disgraceful that Israel have an army. I find it globally disgraceful, you know, that Israel have to have and it's a pretty cool looking army, you know what I mean? You know, I've seen this video recently of some Orthodox Jews in England, and they're like, you know, angry that people are claiming to own land, you know, and it's irony. Anyway, what I'm saying is like not like that, but there's a lot to talk about. And I just want to say it's a global disgrace, not a global disgrace, but like this shouldn't have to own right. And this is the thing about a covenant between like King David or like before King David, maybe Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. You know, there's nothing to be afraid of. You know what I mean? There's nothing to be afraid of. Nothing to be afraid of. It's only post-war kind of rhetoric that they feel they need to defend themselves and protect themselves in case, you know, if some gypsies wipe them all out or something again. They couldn't though. You saw that in the movies. You know, it proved impossible though most sometimes to kill such people with such armor. You know what I mean? Like people with some such tightly you know, before tablecloths really exist, you know, but some tightly in there. So you know, it proved impossible and it proved to the world. So you don't need, you know, but in the sense of what I've seen about land and stuff, I don't know. I think it'd be absolutely fucking awesome to walk like from Egypt into Sinai, hang right there and see if I survive. Unlikely, very unlikely, you know what I mean? And get all the way up to the southern West Bank. You're gonna up there, and they probably walked straight up there and had a great time washing in the oceans. It'd be pretty cool to think that Moses walked right through here, you know, or not Moses. He was on a mountain saying, "See you later, suckers." I'm off to Hotel 61. I've done all I can for you, as I can't do anymore. But yeah, it's still massively hurt and massively. So none of these existed, basically. What I'm saying, all these children of Jacob or Israel, that Israelites have it in Islam as well, both Islam as well. None of these existed, and these are a mixed bunch of fucking weirdos, Hebrews. Most of these cats were having sex with the wife of the lamb, or not the lamb, but in some sort of way. They were super scarlet. You did the whole tabernacle process. You cleaned out. Oh, you've been a naughty boy. Oh, you've been okay. You've been a naughty boy. Oh, you're okay. And it had to be done. And this is a terrible, probably excuse for social screening in modern contemporary societies. Jesus resolved that very much a long time later, but it doesn't matter. I can get more onto that at the moment about Christianity and COVID. But he did great. You didn't know it. He did great. Because he kept treating each other like, well, no, if you made a difference about it, you made a thing about it, it became a thing. But if you're very Christian and you didn't care about it, it actually worked fine. People smell great when you exchange. Sometimes people are smelling nice. But anyway, so yeah, the thing about, like, you know, the Jews owning the property and the world, and Winston Churchill kind of said once, oh, there's like a global conspiracy pretty much. I'm not sure pretty bros were. You know, somebody's controlling. I was happy it was kind of the Jews, you know what I mean? They're like, they know way more that we don't want to know. We're supposed to like Christian lambs and be happy with our ephemerality, free little lambs. But I always hoped it was some like really wise shepherd farmers with big black hats kind of things. I was like, yeah, well, I'm glad they're fucking running the world, hopefully. But it turns out there's loads of gypsies, you know, there's not just the cool, wise old men that I grew up with, like there's loads of fucking trash. Check it out now. I'm having a cup of tea. Soya tea. And it doesn't hurt cows. Cool cows is like commandment. So it's like a C, I think. No, it's not. It's a G. I found these separate, they're like polar. And I think it's G. That's it. G. Is it A sharp? B flat? So it is. So it's check it out now. He fucked his own mother right about now. He killed his twin brother right. It's a G to a flat C. Oh, so brother, check it out now. He fucked his own mother right about now. Check it out. He killed his twin brother right about now. It's Rockefeller trash, baby. Killed their own brothers right about now. There's the sister and the mumbles. Check it out. No. Yeah. But anyway, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, obviously. The frogs. Captain Bucky over here. Using Rockefeller beware. So yeah, there's trash in cigarettes and they're hiding, there's crap all over the world, and there'll be times when all these towers will wind down. They like to not the E2 towers. They must have thought it was the E2 towers. But, so no, I just want to let you know stability. I'm going to go back to where we were. Property. Stabilities within stabilities. You need potting flowers, potiphar. So you're told to go into the desert for a while. You need Isaac, and you're told to do this for a while. Kill your son. Don't kill Jacob. What are you doing? No stability. That's what he's doing. And it's bad word is a backward stability. But in Jacob, all his brothers were told to kill Joseph, which is Jesus and Islam. Joseph. I have to plug that there, baby. You gotta learn to love Joseph. Jimi Hendrix looking bro. Right. Stabilities within stabilities. So there was times and periods when stuff was like insane, and you had to do this and do this. But then there was stabilities and stabilities. You had King David, very happy to be planted. Cain and Abel, like the wandering shepherd is preferred, particularly in a time of desperate nomadicness. But when there's sufficient chronology, to like grow vegetables and survive. There's an imbalance between the two of Cain and Abel that do get by. I live in a country full of a lot of annoying settled people and a lot of travelling kind of people. I was talking to my old friend Dan today, and he was talking about being a traveller, and I was like, yeah, well, you're probably neglected royalty, you're just trying the best in the land that you have. Queen can sail all the way around the world, in a yellow submarine. But if you're just a lad, you're just a person in a small island, you're just kind of bouncing off the walls. But anyway, stabilities within stabilities. You were allowed very much a bech. Like bech is it's not always a tent. You know what I mean? Bech's a home. 10 pegs and stuff are part of the word, but there are different types of securities, like windows or something. Or Shech is a 10 peg, I'm pretty sure. I used to speak this kind of stuff fluently, But anyway, yeah, you're not supposed to be entirely wandering nomadic or not given thought right, or to be able to sufficiently to do it. What I wanted to say was, I got onto the point. This was a good point. Thank you. It was a good point. Sorry, I have a good friend with me. None of those guys existed anyway when they came through up by the West Bank. None of them. So you were screened and tabernacled and super things, and then you had Abram for a while, and you eventually achieved Jacob, and then Jacob had 14 children. And they are kind of all over the place now. So one of those families is Islam. One of the 14 families is Islam. So these are the 14 families of Jacob. Just he's kind of unlike one of these 14 families is Joseph, and true Jesus and Islam. Muhammad is kind of a Christian prophet to me, and Yeah, it just happens to be. He obviously is 1,500 years into the stability of Christianity, and the prophet gets delivered to the line of Joseph. He's a very Christian prophet to me. And he's saved the Joseph family, and then, Christianity flourished all over the world, and no one really appreciated why, but it was because of Islam. Everything flourished. But anyway, I've already said that in videos, but I'm getting back, still just getting back to the property thing. So even when you achieved Jacob, I'm not sorry with there. Okay? Even when you achieved Jacob, you didn't really get Potiphar till you went back to Egypt. You know what I mean? You brought it out and you got to clean a seed, and you brought it back to Egypt and you potted it again. You need potting flour kind of things. I'm saying, that's not what I'm saying. 14 families basically, so all the sporadic thing that the Jews on the West Bank, and one of the 14 families, their brothers, own Palestine. Generally speaking, I'm very ignorant about this now, and I'm sure there's a massive amount of diversity all over these kind of regions. Massive amount of diversity, but yeah, no, everybody should have 31. So Islam should have 1 to 14 rights of the West Bank, if you know what I mean. So all of that trek that Moses made, that is promised to Israel, Jacob's children. Jacob primarily, it's mine, Jacob, but Jacob's children. It's not mine. It's in Jacob. So one of those 14 strips belonged to, so you can give a little bit of land to Palestine. And then, unless Palestine ended up so much because Judaism or Islam was so prevalent. It's also a small amount of space. I looked at Israel, it's fucking tiny. It's absolutely tiny. And these are like 14 families of probably the richest people in the world have to be confined as much. Anyway, owning property, no, it's not. Nobody owns property, but you need to be secure and have Potiphar's, basically what I was saying, potting plants. So you didn't have potting plants and even went back to Egypt to find a potting plant. Is perfectly fine to own property. This is the covenant between the Lord and the land, and the mixing firmament, or in between the flag, the Israeli flag. And one of those lines is the ground. It's above and below, as above, so below. It's kind of so, and there's this orthodoxies are kind of things that I saw taken to an extremity, in the kind of dichotomy that the Jews would take to extremities and dichotomies, and maybe fix on them and take them to heart. They're like, we shouldn't own property at all. They lived on property and kind of hanging around in London town somewhere. I just find it, not that I own a property, it's for a perfect time, but I find it kind of crappy that they had an army. He didn't be afraid of jack shit, you know what I mean? But that's how you keep the covenant in between, those two. So now, nothing bothering about property. I don't have a problem with these Jews around the world, to be honest. Better than those fucking nuts, swiny, pharaoh monsters. Rude at everything and sarcasm. There's these Swiss all along, Anyway, they mixed it up a lot these days, don't they? Euro, Ukrainian kind of Russia and stuff. And kicking it all off again. So that's what I'll say about property tax and, owning the entire world while not owning any property. I didn't do that. I own a big river. But, you can fucking let them know about it. No, so don't feel ashamed about you don't need to go wandering in the desert and want those stability to pre-stabilities, and look at bad stabilities. Look at Noah. Or look at anyone that's terrible. Or Job was pretty apt, just right after Noah. He's pretty fucked up. You don't want to think about these times, Sentence, and then saints, and then kings and massive champions. Alright. And saints, and then the martyrs, and all the poets, and it got getting bigger like a tree, and more flowery and more lovely, until you probably chopped it all down. And the locust probably chopped it all down. Alright, that's a different video. So yeah, don't own tanks, Israel. I thought it looked kind of cool. I don't like tanks. Eye of Death. I hate the military. I like Battlefield 3. That was fun, but I don't like military. I get told when I owned the World Great Reset. I was like, you need to build a psychic army. And I was like, walls get knocked over. Like if I'm just a stone, I'll just roll around laughing my ass off. Hold my Dao Dojing. Yeah. Peace out.